More high drama in Pakistan as a court ruling bans the leader of the opposition from office. Nawaz Sharif says it's politically motivated and points the finger at President Zardari. So what is behind this latest political twist? And is the bickering stalling the return of true democracy to Pakistan? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the programme. I'm Darren Jordan. Well, it seems there's more political trouble ahead for Pakistan. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court disqualified the opposition leader Nawaz Sharif and his brother from office. Angry demonstrations broke out in Sharif's stronghold of Punjab, and he's accused his bitter rival, President Asif Ali Zardari, of foul play. Imran Khan reports now on how these latest political tensions could threaten the country's fragile democracy.
In politics, push often comes to shove. Angry at the removal of the Chief Minister and suspension of the Punjab Assembly, the local government of Pakistan's most influential province, members of the Provincial Assembly and their supporters push past police and on to their goal. Although this is a very small crowd, you can just see the anger, the shouting, the slogans, "Go Zardari, go! We've had enough." They're outside the Punjab Provincial Assembly. The doors are locked, but this crowd want to get inside. They say they would like their constitutional right to practice government.
The members are here to register their sorrow, their grief on the illegal order given by the PCO judges. They are here to register their concern about the law and order situation in Punjab, and these people, they are trying to stop the true representatives of the people of Punjab from attending the session, and we will not let it be happening.
According to one analyst, this latest political crisis has been sparked because Nawaz Sharif, former Prime Minister and leader of the main opposition party, has thrown his support behind the lawyers' protest movement.
Now this restoration of Chief Justice is sort of a commitment for him. And since he took his members and his candidates took oath that if in case they get elected, they will try their best to restore Chief Justice, and if they are not able to restore him, they'll resign. So that's why this slogan of restoration of judiciary is very important for Nawaz Sharif.
Lahore now finds itself in the middle of a power struggle on the national stage. What happens here is now open to intense debate. Most pundits agree that Sharif must now act decisively to keep up the momentum if he wants to regain his rights to hold elected office. And that may mean using his political power to try and force a settlement of the crisis, perhaps withdrawing his politicians from the federal government or using mass demonstrations to restore the judiciary sacked by previous Pakistani President General Musharraf. However, Asif Ali Zardari, Pakistan's president, also seems to be taking a hardline stance. His party say that any Supreme Court decision must be adhered to. So, as the chants grow louder and sides are chosen, this political crisis will only escalate. Imran Khan for Inside Story, Lahore.
Well, joining us now are our guests in Columbia, Missouri, Paul Wallace, Professor Emeritus of Political Science at the University of Missouri. In Manchester, Amjad Malik, a Pakistani lawyer and legal advisor to Nawaz Sharif. And in Lahore, Dr Amna Buttar, who's a PPP member in the Provincial Assembly of the Punjab. Welcome all to the programme. Dr Amna Buttar in Lahore, let me start with you, if I may. Why has the government decided to ban Nawaz Sharif and his brother from office now? I mean, surely this Supreme Court ruling will lead to an all-out confrontation between Nawaz Sharif's party and the government.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say that it's not the government that has done this. It is a legal case. And the first decision that was made was done by Lahore High Court in June 2008. And at that time, Mr. Zardari wasn't even the president of Pakistan. And this was an appeal of that case that was in the Supreme Court. And it is a decision of the court. According to the Constitution of Pakistan, Article 62 states that anybody who's convicted of an offense cannot be a member of a parliament. And another ironical thing that has happened is that Furthermore, according to the ordinance, the accountability ordinance, which was actually introduced by Mr. Nawaz Sharif in 1997, once you're disqualified, then you cannot head a party, a political party. So this is a legal decision made by the Supreme Court of Pakistan according to Constitution of Pakistan and an ordinance that was actually introduced by Mr. Nawaz Sharif.
All right, let's get the view now from Amjad Malik there in Manchester. Amjad Malik, Nawaz Sharif says this is politically motivated and puts the very issue of democracy in Pakistan at stake. Is he right?
Well, I think he's right, and I do not agree with Amna, because this is a sad decision which has derailed the reconciliatory atmosphere, and we haven't learned anything from the politics of around 4 decades of military rule in Pakistan, and we will slightly turn into the politics of 90s. And I think it's a sad decision, and judges haven't done any service to the Supreme Court, who's already under a lot of criticism by lawyer community, and they all have jointly rejected this decision. It's not only a legal decision, but it's a political decision, and Supreme Court at best could have sent this decision to the High Court to form a bigger tribunal of 3 members and could have revisited the merits. But on the ghost petitioner, they have decided against Sharif's, which is, I think they are now, the things will come on the street rather than keeping the opposition leader out of parliament.
OK, let's bring in Paul Wallace there in Columbia, Missouri. Paul Wallace, what do you think is behind this decision to ban Nawaz Sharif? Is it political, as Amjad Malik seems to be saying, or is it legal, as Dr. Amna Buttar says?
Well, I agree with both of the other panelists. It's legal because the court has taken a decision, but it's political because there's a question of which is the legal judiciary, the one that is serving now or the one that when he was president, Pervez Musharraf cashiered 2 years ago. So that question of the judiciary, I think, is central to this whole situation.
But let me ask a question. I mean, you know, these 2 men are bitter rivals, they're bitter enemies. Isn't one of the problems that political cooperation between the PPP and the PMLN was doomed from the start? They were always going to be unlikely bedfellows, weren't they?
Well, as a political scientist, I would say this animosity is situational. Certainly, the prior history is one of animosity between the 2 major political parties and the leaders. But then they had a common enemy, so to speak. The enemy of my enemy is my friend in President Musharraf and that situation. And if Pakistan is to continue with a civil government and not have another military coup, it's imperative that the 2 major political parties cooperate. So that may yet come to the fore, though this is a significant setback.
Let me just stick with that point about consensus that you're talking about and bring back in Dr. Amna Buttar there in Lahore. I mean, this criminal conviction against Nawaz Sharif goes back to the coup in 1999. That's nearly 10 years ago. I mean, surely the Supreme Court now should be working to support the national consensus and not undermine it.
A Supreme Court or any court should not be political. They just have to look at the law, the Constitution, and the facts. And if on some point we say that the Supreme Court should be that, and then when it suits us, we say, oh, it should be a political decision. We have to decide what we want. The problem with our country is that, you know, we are all fighting for the independence of judiciary. And I took part in this judiciary movement, and actually I was beaten up very badly in front of the Supreme Court in April 2007. And I have participated fully in this movement. So we all should remain there and remain committed to uphold the law, uphold the Constitution, and justice. And once justice is done, we say, no, that is not the justice I want, so now I'm going to go to the streets. That is now how things are done. Another thing that I want to point here is that especially the Sharif brothers, this party, when it suits them, they do anything. You know, in '99, when there was a coup and they were put in jail and they were tried, and then their petition was actually still pending in Supreme Court when their father, Mr. Sharif, made a mercy petition to the president, General Musharraf. And that mercy petition is why their sentence was remitted. So in a way, they agreed with the conviction. So it's sort of a quandary that we are in, where we are trying to uphold the Constitution and not make political decisions. And for the fact there is that it is the Federation of Pakistan, after this June 2008 decision, that Federation of Pakistan filed a petition against this decision. So our government, and Mr. Zardari especially, has done whatever they can to, because we're the ones who made this coalition.
Okay, all right.
And it is the reconciliation policy of Benazir Bhutto that brought Nawaz Sharif into this election, because once he said he was going to boycott the election, and at that time Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto was alive, and she convinced them to join the election, and after 27th December, when she was slain, they boycotted again, and Mr. Zardari brought them into the election.
Okay, let's just bring back in Amjad Malik there in Manchester. There's a point that Amna Buttar in Lahore was making about that, it's about people on the streets making these decisions when the politics fail them. And if popular politicians like Nawaz Sharif are kept out of politics by these sorts of court decisions, is there a danger that decisions, political decisions, will be made by people on the streets? I mean, and that could possibly risk more political instability in Pakistan.
Well, Darren, first of all, I think the lady is economical with the truth. Nawaz Sharif was allowed to contest election in General Musharraf's reign in 2002, but as a goodwill gesture, he withdrew his papers because Benazir was not allowed to file her papers, number one. Number two, this very judiciary has legalized the coup of Musharraf on 3rd of November. They scrapped the BA degree condition within a day. They have also taken other decisions very quickly. But when it comes to Nawaz Sharif's case, they took 8 months to decide for their qualification. And also, I think it's ironic that when you're talking about spirit of reconciliation, Benazir's spirit of reconciliation is gone. Mr. Zardari has buried the Charter of Democracy yesterday, and it was an inaugural ceremony of the 4th military rule. And tomorrow, nobody else but the inept politicians will be blamed for further destabilization. And rather than talking about the major decisions like drone attacks, like economic meltdown, we will be talking about corrupt elite and corrupt politicians.
Okay, stay with us, won't you, because it's time for a short break now. But when we come back, is there a way out of this worsening political mess? And can both sides reach perhaps an uneasy truce? Stay with us.